I hope it's not windy. If it is, I'm sorry in advance. So this video, I'm sitting in my barn still, and I'm like sitting on a little ledge. Ponies are right there. So this is still part of my internship guide sort of deal that I was doing. The purpose of this one now, is more or less about kind of all those events that did happen. I want to talk about how did it even come about? Like, how did I really prepare and meet those people, get the connections to really do all the things that I even did, which I haven't even really touched on all of them yet, but I just wanted to kind of tell you a bit of the backstory to everything that happened. So it kind of started when I finished school, moved back home, and started a job. And I didn't really think it was something I could do for the rest of my life. And I realized at that moment, I'm like, okay, time's ticking, I'm getting a bit older. What do I want to do with my life? Like, what do I want to do? What are my goals, long term, short term? Just kind of like, where do I, that whole envisioning yourself 5, 10 years from now? Where do you see it? How can I take a step now towards that? So, my goals, I was thinking about, I'm like, well, I've been riding for a long time and I'd really like to be better. So how can I do something right now and make that happen? And I would have loved, doing that whole intern thing. And I thought, like, that's kind of possible for me. Why can't I do it? So for me, obviously, you have to change things and like quit a job or whatever, arrange situations and arrange your life that is going to allow you to kind of just leave the country for a while. But I did it. I figured it out kind of as I went. I didn't really have a huge plan, but I knew I was going to make it work. So the biggest thing, I think, going on a trip like that for me is really taking advantage of the networking that I was available to. So I kind of hard sometimes because when you're in a big group or whatever, but I just knew going down there, I'm like, I need to meet people. And even the initial person that I met that I was going to intern with, I just started reaching out. I got a hold of some barns, I emailed them, I introduced myself, told them what I was looking to do, what I wanted, and seeing how they could help me. And some of them got back to me. The one lady that I ended up going with from Oklahoma, she got back to me, and that's kind of how that whole thing came about. It was literally within 2 weeks of me reaching out to people that I was on an airplane to the States. So it was pretty quick, but it was one of those things that you just got to go with it. When the opportunity arises, you just take it and you run. So that's kind of what I did. And from there, the meeting people thing was still really big. I knew I was going to meet people that I'd never be able to meet in my life staying in Canada. So I really wanted to leverage that and just try and meet as many people as possible. And with that, a lot of just, trying to put your best foot forward, making yourself presentable to opportunities that might come up. And honestly, if you don't make yourself available to that, they're not going to happen. Things like that don't happen naturally. You really have to put yourself out there and make that for yourself, or else it won't happen. And you can hope and wish one day, but unless you actually put the effort and kind of push it for you to get what you want, it may or may not. Things like that don't just usually happen on their own. You really have to kind of work for it a little. And that's what, for me, I was like, okay, I want to meet a certain amount of people. I want to take full advantage of the fact that I'm going to be in the States, and literally the capital of horse country, and see how I can learn from other people, because I knew it wasn't going to last forever. And that's kind of what I try to do. And with that, that's pretty much how I got around so well. And I think the biggest thing was, putting just making yourself present and available to opportunities. And if something scares you, sometimes that scary is a good thing, and you should try and push towards the thing that actually is scaring you. And if that's introducing yourself to a big trainer, or asking a question to them, or just anything, especially when you're given only a limited amount of time to do something, like, you really have to try and take advantage and get the most you possibly can. And honestly, I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't do that, so many of the steps wouldn't have happened. Even looking before I went on the trip, if I didn't decide to take this step of kind of like personal growth or getting experience, life experience, whatever you want to call it. But if I didn't do those steps, honestly, I would be nowhere where I am today. And I'm pretty happy with where I am today, so I'm really glad those things did happen. And the purpose of this video, I guess, is just to kind of shed light on that topic, that, you know, sometimes things are scary and you should really go for the things you want. And if that means stepping out of your comfort zone, then maybe that's not a bad thing. So that is all for right now. I hope it was good. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'm happy to talk about it.